Hello. Okay. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Aphrodite and this is Aphrodite's house. This is actually same day as the other video, just different time of the day, different location. Same location, just different film setup. Hairs, obviously. Tied off, was doing some other stuff, but I'm just gonna jump right into this video because I was gonna nap and the nap didn't happen. So let's just jump right in because, when I get kind of pulled from what I'm doing, then the message is pretty important and it's time to just go on ahead and talk about it. So, in today's video, the topic is going to be why ancestor work might not be what you need to be focused on. I'm sorry, this thing is I tied it so tight. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. Why ancestor work might not be so important for you in general. So, I find ancestor work to be important to me and to my spiritual journey because I know where I'm coming from. I know who my ancestors are, the work that I've previously done with them, the work that I continue to do with them. I've done like the DNA stuff, so I know like genetically also where I come from. But a lot of times when you don't know who your ancestors are, when you have no real connection to them, when you have no real connection to, let's say, your bloodline, it's just confusing, you have some trauma, these might be some things that will prevent you from doing the ancestor work that you kind of see other people doing. Sometimes it's just not going to be what's going to help you advance spiritually. Sometimes you need to get a firm grip on who you are rather than focusing on ancestor veneration and appeasing them and doing all of those things, especially when you have no clue who runs in your bloodline. That can be a little tricky and can get you into a lot of trouble, especially if this person was a narcissist, an alcoholic, a racist, a drug addict, not a good person, and you don't really know much about maybe, let's say, that side of your family or any side of your family in general, and you're just leaving out offerings for your ancestors and you don't know who they are, you're not very specific, or let's say one of your ancestors doesn't have the best intentions for you, doesn't want to see you thrive, or is still processing their own trauma from when they were alive and is kind of pushing all of this onto you. Kind of like, well, if I couldn't have it, then why should you be able to have it? That's another thing. When you do ancestor veneration, when you work with your ancestors at all, be prepared to have to work through generational trauma, but also be prepared to have a thick skin. You get a lot of, how they lived is what they're like now that they're gone. Excuse me. There's a lot of energy in here, and it's absolutely true. How they lived, the things that they did in their lifetime, those things don't necessarily change because we pass on. Yes, sometimes, you see the error of our ways, and, that was kind of a big deal for me dealing with some of my ancestors once they've passed and they kind of realized what was important. It was a little bit more embarrassing to want to work with me because it's like, yeah, when I lived my life, I didn't live it nobly, and we see what you're doing and we get that you're trying to, really do things differently. I'm ashamed. So maybe just don't call on me. Don't try to work with me right now. I clearly dropped the ball on this one and I'm just too ashamed to be over here in your space or working with you. Sometimes what we really, 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 really need is a clean slate. And sometimes when you enter into spirituality, you're given that. Now, a lot of people like working with their ancestors because they know who they're working with, the power of that bloodline connection, that love, that I will ride for you, I will die for you, I will do anything I need to for you. is present. But sometimes when you're adopted, it could be anything, you have no clue who you are. Maybe it's best to not look at this lifetime, and you could look at your previous lifetime, because sometimes past life ancestors will be more helpful to you than this lifetime. They'll help you break karmic cycles from those past lifetimes, so that you can have a better stable foundation in this lifetime, and it'll be more beneficial to you. Not everyone needs to always work with their ancestors, have a good relationship with their ancestors, in order for their power, their personal power, to be so great, or in order for their spiritual gifts to flourish and grow. You know, ancestors open up particular doors for you, I think, personally. But then again, you know, you have to understand, this is why people also just choose to work with particular energies, deities, you know, things like that, especially if the ancestors, it's just not a thing for you, again, for whatever reason. But if you're going to work with your ancestors, if you're going to open that door, have those tough conversations, try to grow with them, try to understand them, and things of that nature, you need to have a thick skin. You have to be prepared. Excuse me, there's a lot of energy in here. You have to be prepared for the things that you didn't see coming. And I know that that's a little off-putting to say it like that. It's like, well, obviously, duh, but like, what more? I'm talking about like the 4 a.m. nights when you're woken up in the middle of the night and your ancestor needs something. They need some water. Maybe they need you to put a fresh something or another on the altar. For me in particular, I remember one night I was woken up because I forgot I have a special sword that I keep on my ancestor altar, you know, because if shit's gonna go down, they need to be able to shoot you. They need to be able to have something, and I need to be able to have something. I just remember one of the first things was, along with all of the beautiful things that I put on my altar, protection was one. And yeah, you know, the protection herbs and the sigils and the, you know, I don't need, you know, we're good. I've worked within the confines of alchemy to do that, right? But something physical, something personal, something connected to my bloodline that they could use as actual protection. So I have a really nice sword that sits on my altar now, and I only ever take it off when I need to cleanse it, and then I leave it there for them. But also the reason why I do that is because I leave a lot of water, because my family is quite large, and waters work as portals. And even with as careful as I am and as calculated as I am, I'm existing. I'm going through the human experience, which means I am subject to make mistakes and leave portals open by mistake. Things can come through. The bottom line is, even though I know who watches my gates, who watches my doorways, who protects me, who covers me, I like to make sure they too are covered. You feel me? So I leave a knife. I leave many things on my altar, but one of which is that it's like a miniature sword. It's so... Anyways, I say all this to say that ancestor work is not for everyone, and that's okay. Don't let anyone bully you into thinking you need to praise your ancestors, especially if you don't know who they are or they were just shitty people. You can heal your bloodline without needing to have a single conversation with them. It all starts with you at this point. You are the vessel. You are the one who's doing the work. It all starts with you. You dictate where you want your path to go. Don't let people bully you into thinking that you need to praise your ancestors 24/7. And not everyone works within the same spiritual confines. Not everyone, you know what I mean? The blueprint for everyone is different. And it's allowed to be different. And it's allowed to be different. So let it be. Again, working with ancestors, make sure you know who you're working with. Be very specific. That's why a lot of people, you know, use a lot of... The energy is so heavy in here. Use a lot of family photos and things like that for their ancestor altars or personal artifacts. Yeah. I was getting ready to take a nap, and I posted the video on astral projection and all of that, and I'm still trying to figure out, you know, where I feel the most comfortable filming and all of that. Obviously, I am a thicker woman, so I have to really be comfortable, and then there's a lot of energies coming in and out. So I really have to be comfortable, otherwise I just look really disheveled and not good on camera. So with that being said, I hope this video was educational and helpful. I feel like with new age spirituality, and even with the older generations of spirituality, there's a lot of bullying you into believing that you have to do particular things, and you know, a lot of the times our elders are right, but remember something, these are the same individuals we're trying to heal from. So be very careful and very cautious of who you're allowing to lead you in your journey. That's why mentors and family traditions and things of that nature are so important. If you, again, don't really know much about your family, you're adopted or things like that, or you know, whatever, find your own traditions, make your own path, but make sure you have some sort of a mentor who will be able to help you navigate through these difficult times, where it's like, do I put up an altar? Where do I put my altar? How am I going about, you know, filling out the energy of the room? How am I going about making sure that there's particular energy here and here and here, but free flowing here, so that I'm not overwhelmed? If I put something here, is it likely an ancestor that I don't like will show up? How do I set a boundary? How do I not allow that in my space? Because even though I cleanse 24/7, they still show up. Well, of course, what kind of cleansing are you doing? What kind of protection do you have up besides just regular cleansing? Do you work with sigils? Do you have protection jars? Do you have protection amulets? Do you hang things? You know, what is your, you know what I mean? It's important to have someone who can help you navigate those things. So whether it just be my little tidbits of, you know, the things that I've experienced, or whether it be someone else who is an elder, someone who's initiated into something that you have an interest in, whatever it is, make sure that you feel comfortable when you're guided, and nurtured when you're being guided. If there's just too much and it's too confusing and you don't feel nurtured, or you don't feel the drive, or like the yeah when you are really learning from this person or hearing this person speak or communicating, then they're probably not the correct energy for you in the long run. Now, they could have some vital pieces of information that you needed, and that's why you crossed paths, and that's it, and that's okay too. But yeah, so this is what I've got for you in terms of this video. Keep your eyes wide open, pay attention, watch your intentions. You're manifesting your current reality. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others around you, be safe, be responsible, and remember that your spiritual journey is for you, and healing takes time, but it starts within, and when we heal ourselves, we help heal the collective. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.